What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to talk about my favorite players of all time, Derrick Rose. And whenever you bring up Derrick Rose's name, it is immediately followed by people saying how big of a what if he is and how he could have been one of the greatest point guards of all time if his career was not derailed by injuries. And while that is true, it is also true that since those injuries, he has turned himself into a very solid basketball player, and over the past 3 years, he has changed his entire playstyle and his mindset to fit the modern NBA, and I don't think enough people have realized that. So in this video, I'm going to walk you guys through how Derrick Rose had a career rebirth, and at the end of the video, I'm going to make my case as to why Derrick Rose, he will be a Hall of Famer. So to start this video, we're going to the 2017 offseason where Derrick Rose, he would sign with the Cleveland Cavaliers and make one of the biggest mistakes of his career. Now, Derrick Rose signing with the Cavs, it wasn't all bad from the start. He actually was pretty solid in his first few games with them, averaging 14 points and 47% shooting, including 91% from the line. But after an ankle injury versus the Milwaukee Bucks, Derrick Rose decided to leave the Cleveland Cavaliers on an excused absence and contemplate his basketball future and decide whether he would retire or return to Cleveland. Now, at the time, it was very serious, and many people thought Derrick Rose was going to retire, as up to this point, he'd had 4 knee surgeries, including tons of ankle, knee, and other undisclosed injuries we don't know about. But luckily enough, Derrick Rose, he would decide to come back to the Cavaliers, and he would play a few more games with them before being traded to the Minnesota Timberwolves. Now, this trade to Minnesota, I think it is one of the best things that ever happened in Derrick Rose's career, as he got out of Cleveland, where he really didn't fit into the team's offense, and in Minnesota, he didn't have much time to gel or get to know his teammates, but he still performed very well when the playoffs came around, averaging 14 points on 51% shooting, including 70% from 3 and 86% from the line. And he actually helped the Minnesota Timberwolves win their first playoff game in over a decade. And I think that short playoff run, it gave Derrick Rose, as well as a lot of NBA fans, confidence that he would be back for the 2019 season. And during this 2019 season, Derrick Rose, he would have one of the most iconic games of his career, as he would score 50 points on Halloween, having numerous clutch shots, including the game-winning block. And I think this game was a huge reminder to fans, and even to Derrick Rose in a way, of how good he was and how good he could still be. And during this 2019 season, Derrick Rose, he would have 4 games over 30 points, 24 games over 20 points, and when it was all said and done, he would finish 6th in the 6th Man of the Year race, including 8th in the Most Improved Player award race. Also, a very important fact about Derrick Rose's 2019 season is the fact that he shot 37% from the three-point line, which till this day, that is still his career high, and he also had his most career threes made in a game, which was 7 versus the Los Angeles Lakers. And right now, I'm going to show you a quick video clip where Derrick Rose explains how he changed his game to fit the modern NBA.
What advice would the veteran D-Rose today give the young D-Rose?
Be patient. When I first came in the league, I wanted everything so fast, but like gradually through my injuries and everything and the way that I played like a reckless game, but the ultimate pay was like my knees messing up. So I had to learn from that, slow my game down, and understand how gifted I am, how skilled I am. I had to really work on my game in the offseason to prepare for the seasons ahead. This year, I'm solely a 2-guard, and it's kind of different now, where now in the league, you have to adapt, you gotta be able to shoot. So my game has always been mid-range in the paint, this and that, but I think I'm a really good catch and shoot player now, because a lot of people forget, before knee surgeries, your whole life, you're used to a 1-2 rhythm, right, where you get into your shot. Right. Okay, you have 1 knee surgery, you have 2 knee surgeries, 3, 4. What's your 1-2 rhythm? Right. How you gonna come down? How you gonna shoot coming off screens? What's gonna be your 1-2? Are you gonna ease into it? Are you gonna hop into it? What is it gonna be? Right. So I had to learn all that, all these years, 6 or 7 years, right, of actually going through rehab to actually learn the rhythm of how I want to shoot the ball, and I think I finally got there.
So as you saw in that video clip, Derrick Rose talked about how he had to revolutionize his game to fit the modern NBA, and I think he has done that, as in the 2020 season, he is shooting 42.2% on catch and shoot threes, and that ranks 16th amongst guards in the NBA. And over these past 2 seasons, he is shooting 34% from 3, which is 4% up from his career average. I also think it's important to note how productive Derrick Rose is in the limited minutes he gets. During the 2019 season, among players who played less than 30 minutes a game and over 30 games that season, Derrick Rose, he ranked second in points per game total at 18 points per game. In first place was Lou Williams, who was the eventual 6th Man of the Year winner. This year in 2020, Derrick Rose, he ranked 4th at 18.1 behind Montrezl Harrell, Lou Williams, and Paul George. So Derrick Rose is definitely in some elite company when it comes to scoring in a limited amount of time. And I think for Derrick Rose's career, that will be a theme. I don't think his body can hold up. And I don't think it's really a good thing to be playing Derrick Rose 35 minutes a game. I don't think it's sustainable. And I don't think Derrick Rose would want that. And also I want to take a look at this quick comparison between MVP Rose and 2020 Derrick Rose. When you look at their per 36 stats, they are extremely similar. Now, in no way am I saying that Derrick Rose in Detroit is equivalent to MVP Rose. I'm just showing you guys that statistically per 36, it's pretty even when it comes to production level output. Now, with that being said, I think we need to look at Derrick Rose's 2020 season as he's averaging 18.1 points per game. That is the highest since 2012. That is the year after he won MVP. He's also averaging 5.6 assists, which is also the highest since that 2012 season. Now, when you do look at the games where Derrick Rose has played 30 plus minutes per game this year, he is averaging 24, 6, and 4, and he has yet to score under 20 points. Now, as I said before, I don't think those numbers would be sustainable. I just want to show you guys a quick little sample size of how Derrick Rose, he can still be effective playing big minutes as well as playing smaller and reduced minutes. And to end this video, I'm going to make my quick case of why I think Derrick Rose, he is a Hall of Famer and he will eventually make it in the Hall of Fame. So starting out, Derrick Rose, his big argument, his big case to be a Hall of Famer, it relies on his 2011 MVP. And I think this 2011 MVP, it was definitely historic, as Derrick Rose, he was the youngest player ever to win the award, which is a very notable accomplishment in NBA history. Also in 2011, Derrick Rose became one of only 6 players to have 2,000 points and 600 assists in a season. The other 5 players on that list are Michael Jordan, LeBron James, John Havlicek, Oscar Robertson, and Nate Archibald. And I think the one thing that really helps Derrick Rose's case is that it's not very hard to make the Basketball Hall of Fame. And the NBA Hall of Fame, it's really trying to tell a story of the entire NBA history, and I don't think you can tell that history without bringing up Derrick Rose's name. So I think that does benefit his argument of being a Hall of Famer. I also think being only one of 7 point guards to ever win MVP, that also does benefit him. And I think it would be a tragedy if Derrick Rose became the only MVP not to make the Hall of Fame. And again, I think the Hall of Fame, it is more telling the story of the game of basketball rather than being the best players making it. And if you look at some of the recent selections, you have guys like Tracy McGrady being a first ballot Hall of Famer. Now, I do think Tracy McGrady, he is deserving of a Hall of Fame bid, but I think being a first ballot, that should be reserved to players who are top 25 all time. And I think if McGrady, if he can get on a first ballot, why can't Derrick Rose get on a second or third ballot? I think it will eventually happen because the NBA does embrace its players and embraces the history. And I think there'll be a large outcry from the fans if Derrick Rose is not selected as an NBA Hall of Famer. So I kind of went on a tangent at the end of this video, but I really did want to make my case as why Derrick Rose is a Hall of Famer. And I think the larger part of this video is to show you guys you don't have to always talk about what could have been if he didn't get injured. You can also talk about how good a player he is in the NBA today, because as I showed you, he has turned himself into a very solid basketball player. So with that being said, thank you guys for watching this video. I do hope Derrick Rose does make the Hall of Fame, and I do hope you guys subscribe if you haven't already. So with that being said, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next time.